हाय गाइस, ये फ्रैंक गुरुजी बैक अगेन। आज के इस वीडियो में क्लास 10 का वीडियो है। ऑब्वियसली हम ये जानेंगे कि हम केमिकल चेंज को कैसे रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं, मतलब कैसे हम कोई भी केमिकल रिएक्शन को लिखते हैं। तो लेकिन उससे पहले ये ज़रूरी है कि आप जो स्टैंडर्ड 9 में पढ़ा है फॉर्मूलाज और सिंबल्स क्या है, कैसे हम किसी एलिमेंट के सिंबल लिखते हैं, फॉर्मूला लिखते हैं, वो आपके लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। उसकी जानकारी होनी चाहिए, बल्कि आपको वो रट लेना चाहिए। तो इस वीडियो में सबसे पहले तो मैं आपको वो कुछ इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर्मूलाज के लिस्ट बताऊंगा। उसके बाद आप सीखेंगे कि केमिकल रिएक्शन को हम कैसे रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं थ्रू केमिकल इक्वेशन। बट लेट्स सी व्हाट आर द सम इम्पॉर्टेंट केमिकल formulas. See here, the first formula that you must learn is carbonate. It is CO3 2 minus. The charge that is given here is actually the valency. Sulfate SO4 2 minus. Okay, this is 2 minus. Nitrate, that means its valency is 2. NO3 minus. ये जो minus है 1, मतलब nitrate की valency 1 है. Phosphate PO4 3 minus. 3 minus is the charge or the valency. Bicarbonate HCO3 minus. Sulfide S2 minus, oxide O2 minus, peroxide O2 2 minus, permanganate MnO4 minus, dichromate Cr2O7 2 minus, sulfite SO3 minus, nitride N3 minus, nitrite TE है NO2 minus। देखिए अमोनियम आयन ये एक अलग सा है कि जिसमें कि पॉजिटिव चार्ज है, इस बाकी सभी में माइनस चार्ज है। NH4 प्लस, अमोनियम इज NH4 प्लस, एंड लास्ट एसिटेट CH3COO माइनस। ये कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट लिस्ट ऑफ फॉर्मूलाज है जो कि आपको आना ही चाहिए, और भी है लेकिन ये कम से कम आना चाहिए। तो ये जान लेने के बाद चलो हम देखते हैं कि केमिकल रिएक्शन को हम कैसे रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं। Chemical reaction or chemical change can be represented in many ways. For example, if I write when hydrogen reacts with oxygen, water is produced. Now this is one way of representing a chemical reaction. Representation of chemical reaction. I am writing in short. This is one way of representing a chemical reaction, but you see it is being represented in the form of a sentence, and in science this is time taking. In scientific view it is time taking. Scientists want this represent to be more shorter. So what is the one way by which we can shorten this chemical reaction is by using the important words, like here hydrogen is the word, then oxygen is the word, and water is the another word. So we can represent this chemical reaction in terms of word equation. Okay, so what is a word equation? Word equation means representing the chemical reaction in terms of words. So what we can do, we can write hydrogen plus oxygen arrow water. Okay, so this is when we are representing a chemical change in terms of words, then it is known as word equation. But don't you think it is still a longer form of representing a chemical change? Yes, it is. So we need more shorter form. So what is that shorter form by which we can represent this word equation? The shorter form is that we have to use their symbols or formulas to represent this chemical equation. So you must by now in standard 9 you have learned the formula of hydrogen is H2. So we can write H2 plus O2 gives water, isn't it? So this is the shortest form of representing a chemical reaction, that is by using symbols and formulas. Okay, so again I will repeat here. See here, one way of representing a chemical reaction or chemical change is to write it in the form of a reaction, but it's long, we have to shorten down. How can we do it? We can select the important words and write them in the form of a word equation, but still it is a longer form. We need more shorter form. Shortest rather, the shortest form is that represent them in the form of formula or the symbols, that is the hydrogen. The formula of hydrogen is H2, oxygen, O2 and water. So this is the best way of representing a chemical chain. So now this representing, when we are representing this chemical change by using symbols and formulas, it is known as chemical equation. So now it's time to define what is a chemical equation. I hope you have noted down. So let's write what is the definition of chemical equation. See here, question is, what is a chemical equation? Okay, answer, the symbolic, the representation of a chemical change in terms of the symbols and formulas of reactants and products is known as a chemical equation. Okay, so what is a chemical equation? Chemical equation, question mark I should have put, the representation of a chemical change in terms of the symbols and formulas of reactants and products is known as a chemical equation, or is known as a chemical equation. Now this means what? In order to represent the chemical change, you have to know the formulas and symbols of various elements. It's only then you will be able to write the chemical equation properly. So by now whatever you have learned in standard 9, please go through it again and again so that you are able to memorize them. Memorizing the formulas of reactants and products is very essential. So let's see some chemical equation. Suppose you are given a word equation, magnesium plus oxygen gives magnesium oxide. You are asked to write this in the form of a chemical equation. So what you will write? You will write the symbol of magnesium, that is Mg, plus oxygen, you know, O2, and then MgO. All right. So this is the chemical equation. But one thing you must note here, this is not a balanced chemical equation. Okay. So here one term comes, that is skeletal equation. Skeletal equation. So what is a skeletal equation? This equation is known as a skeletal equation. That is an unbalanced chemical equation is known as a skeletal equation. Okay. Now one thing, here you are seeing arrow is being put. So what does this arrow signify? Arrow means whenever we are using arrow, it means arrow represents to give or to yield. Arrow means to give or to yield. That means when Mg reacts with oxygen, it gives magnesium oxide or it yields magnesium oxide. So the meaning of arrow is to give or to yield. So this is a way of representing chemical reaction. There are various questions which are given in your NCERT book. So please, I am giving you an assignment. Write the chemical equation, the questions, solve those questions which is given at the end of the chapter in your NCERT book. Now, next is, as you had seen, that the equation that I have written, that was a skeletal equation. So that means this Mg plus O2 MgO. This is what? This is a skeletal equation. Now there is a law which is called law of conservation of mass. Okay, so according to this law, mass of reactants should be equal to mass of products. So because of this, because of this law, what we have to do? We have to balance a chemical equation. Okay, so see here, in order to satisfy the law of conservation of mass, we have to balance this equation. Now see, let's count how many atoms of magnesium. One here, but how many atoms of oxygen here? Two here, but here one. To satisfy this, what we have to do? We have to balance. So if we make it 2 here, then two oxygen and 2 oxygen. Oxygen gets balanced. But after having written 2 here, magnesium gets unbalanced, because here 2 magnesium atoms are there, but here only 1. So you have to balance this and make it a balanced chemical equation. So here the next question comes, what is a balanced chemical equation? So let me define it and you also write along with me. Question is, what is a balanced chemical equation? So what will be the answer? The answer is, it is a type of equation. It is a type of chemical equation rather, in which number of atoms of each element present on both sides of the equation are equal. It is a type of chemical equation in which number of atoms of each element present on both sides of the equation are equal. Like here, 2 magnesium, 2 magnesium, 2 oxygen, 2 oxygen. Okay, now we can make this balanced chemical equation more informative. How? So the next question, again I am giving you this lecture in terms of questions, because ultimately in your exam you will be asked to write the answer to the question. So the next question is, what are the information provided by a balanced chemical equation? What are the information provided by a balanced chemical equation? Okay, so let's check out here. First, this is the question, this is the answer. It gives the names of reactants and products. Okay, you know the names of the reactants product. The reactant are magnesium and oxygen. The product is magnesium oxide. Second information that it gives the symbols and formulas of reactants and products. Okay. Third, it gives the relative number of moles of each reactant and product. See here, there are 2 moles of magnesium reacting with 1 mole of oxygen to give 2 moles of magnesium oxide. Number 4, we can make this more informative if we write the physical state. This is solid, this is gas, and this is again solid. So it gives the physical state of reactants and products. So these are the information. And finally, suppose in place of this we take an equation in which all the reactants and products are in gaseous state. In that case, what will happen? Suppose we take nitrogen, you know this is a gas, plus hydrogen, this is also a gas, to gives 2 moles of gas. So In case of gaseous, it gives the relative number of volumes of gaseous reactants and products. If all of them are gaseous, so here 1 volume of nitrogen reacts with 3 volume of hydrogen to give us 2 volume of ammonia. So all gas, they need to be in gaseous state. So that's all for today. In today's video, what we have learned, first of all, we have learned how to represent a chemical change or a chemical reaction. We can do it in the form of a sentence, but that's a longer way. We have to shorten it up. We can do it in the form of a word equation, but still that is a longer format. We need the shortest. So shortest is writing it in the form of symbols and formula of reactants and products. That is chemical equation. Next, we learned that when the chemical equation is not balanced, it is known as a skeletal equation. After that, we learned that we have to balance a chemical equation in order to satisfy the law of conservation of mass, according to which number of atoms of each element present on both sides of the equation should be equal. So that's the reason why should be balanced. And how to balance, I have a video you can see there. And by the way, lastly we learned what are the information conveyed by a balanced chemical equation. Like it gives us the names of reactants and products, it gives us the symbols and formulas, it gives the relative number of moles like 1 mole, 3 mole, 2 mole. It gives the physical state like gas here. In that earlier example it was solid, gas, solid. And if all of the reactant and products are in gaseous state, it also tells us about the relative number of volume. Okay, so that's all for today. See you in the next video, and please solve the question that are given at the end of the chapter. I think question number 6, 7, 8 of your NCERT book. Till then, all the best.